outstanding work. Way to do it with the microphone and everything else. So Cam Newton, meanwhile, so a lot of people are fans of Brock Purdy. A lot of people have questions. We know Cam Newton is one of those with questions. He was back on his podcast talking about the quarterback again. Here's what he says now.
To be labeled a game changer, Brock Purdy has to be the best player on the offensive side of the ball. And that's not the case.
And who's the best player?
Christian McCaffrey. Man, look, I ain't recanting And if you really want to just be honest, if you add in the defensive talent and you add in the offensive talent, Brock Purdy is the 10th best player on this team.
Okay, so, I mean, we had that before and the talk about the game manager and all that sort of thing, and we have parsed those words a million different ways. Now he just said Brock Purdy is the 10th best player on the San Francisco 49ers. I think there are probably some people shaking their heads and other people who are saying that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Which side of that are you on, Bart?
No, I think it's accurate. It's okay.
It's accurate.
It's okay to be the 10th best. He makes $900,000. He was Mr. Irrelevant. It's okay. At the end of the day, they don't measure how much money you made. They measure how many championships and games you won. And that's what he should worry about. He shouldn't worry about trying to be, like, I don't think Brock Purdy thinks he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right? But he can be the Hall of Very Good. It's levels to this. A lot of us was just good players. It's only special select few that's great players. And I think when we see it, we know it. And we understand and we see what Brock's doing. We appreciate what he's doing. He's punching above his weight class. But I would say it's a lot of great players. Like, that's why they're able to get those great players. We'll see how San Francisco feels about Brock Purdy when it comes time to pay him.
I got people in here all week long who are telling me that who are going to bring out a million different advanced stats, his tight window throws, his running this Kyle Shanahan offense better than anyone ever has outside of Matt Ryan's one MVP season, how much better they are right now, his ability to run with it late in the game. And some will hear that and they will say it is disrespectful to the play that Brock Purdy is putting on the field to suggest that he isn't a critical piece of this, that he isn't the most important guy on that team. What do you think about the Purdy? You've heard all of it. You were there last week.
We touched on anything Cam said. I helped him get 1 million subscribers to his little podcast, so you're welcome, Cam. But I think, honestly, the Brock Purdy stuff, it's okay to say that he's critical to their success, but also not the best player on the team. Like we should be celebrating Brock Purdy because literally a year and a half ago, we were looking at him. He was the 4th string guy in San Francisco. He had no offseason reps as the first team guy. He became the guy. They went to the NFC title game. And guess what? He got injured. No first team reps in the offseason. And he has them back in the NFC title game. Yes, they have pieces. A lot of quarterbacks have pieces. I think Brock Purdy, honestly, he gets stripped down and so many people tell him what he isn't. And he has never once said, I'm as good as Cam. I'm as good as Patrick Mahomes. I'm as good as Josh. He's never said that. All the kid said is, hey, I've never been the tallest. I've never been the fastest, never been the strongest, but I work hard and I have a competitive edge and I want to help us win. And his teammates have said, since I remember, because I covered the NFC title game last year and I covered it this year, talking to 49ers players, George Kittle, Fred Warner, guys that I'm sure a lot of people respect in that locker room, talking to them, they said last offseason, Trent Williams, Brock Purdy won me over with how he does the job. Nobody is saying Brock Purdy is the same as Patrick or Josh or Lamar or Jalen or Dak or whoever. But he's playing in this game and they're not. Like, that's the difference. And he has a great supporting cast, but he is critical to how they play in this game because it's not just CMC can only do so much. Like, it's Brock who has to get Brandon Ayuk the ball, Debo the ball, George Kittle the ball, Juszczyk the ball. Like, his play is important.
I am a Brock Purdy fan as I hold this.
Like, why would we not be?
Glorious Thursday. I'm a huge Brock Purdy fan, and we get lost in trying to figure out what Brock Purdy isn't instead of appreciating what Brock Purdy has been able to do. Kmart just mentioned it, bro. The man was a 3rd string, 4th string quarterback last year. So let me tell y'all this. To go into a football game against the Miami Dolphins, in which he had to go replace Jimmy Garoppolo, and for Kyle Shanahan to trust you to throw the football 37 times, but not only that, for you to have the mental capacity, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Right.
How impressive is that, though, for Brock Purdy to go into a football game and be ready to play as a young cat? But when you look at what he's been able to do, when you have the respect of a Trent Williams, who a lot of us feel like is the best offensive lineman in football, or one of them, and you can get his respect, and you can get the respect of Deebo Samuel or Chris McCaffrey or Fred Warner after the game, or you see the way Nick Bosa looked the man in the face.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to respect that. He's a football player,
He's
and
gritty,
he's really good at doing it, and he wins.
I feel like there's an element of this conversation that is kind of still diminishing him, at least to the extent that some of the people I've had here this week have talked about him. There are people who have been here this week that say he right now deserves to be talked about like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, like he is the star of this team, all that kind of thing.
Who is saying that, Greeny?
Oh, Jeff Saturday was saying, lots of people were saying.
Rudy Rudelsel. No, I'm just.
No,
we had lots of people saying
He's not the star of this team.
He's not a star, but that doesn't mean he isn't the most important part of the team.
Yeah, because when you go into this matchup, you are going against Patrick Mahomes. You're going against arguably the greatest quarterback playing right now. So when we look at who has the advantage at quarterback, obviously the Chiefs. But that doesn't mean that you need to then discount everything that Purdy has done and the stats that he's put up, because we care about the numbers. We care about the numbers.
What do you think he would?
I'm so sick of this conversation.
Why? What part of it?
He's not a game changer. He's not, in the infamous words of Mike Singletary, I want winners. I want winners, because at the end of the day, what is it all about? It's about winning. Brock Purdy is a winner. He wins. He shouldn't apologize because the 49ers have surrounded him with talent. That's not his fault. But when he's out on the field, he maximizes his talent. He goes out there and plays efficient at a very high level. What more do you want the man to do? He's not Josh Allen, with his ability to run around and do all that. That's okay. There's more than one way to go out here and play quarterback at a high level. I don't understand the whole conversation of trying to talk down on this man. Why? His whole story should be celebrated. He was literally Mr. Irrelevant. He comes in. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo had his time. He comes in. He plays better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care what metric. I don't care. You can look at the film. Brock Purdy is one of the best quarters in the National Football League. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the. How?
Okay,
tell me how. Tell me how he's not one of. Tell me how he's not one of the best quarterbacks.
Listen, you play for a team that said do your job. And he does his job.
And he does it at a very high level.
Yes, he's reliable. And listen, but it's not the degree of difficulty. Like, we live in a society, we just have to accept it, where we rank everything, right? We break down, we push somebody else down to push somebody else up, right? We have like Jalen Brunson's going through the same thing right now with the New York Knicks, right? We want to rank him, right? And we know what a great player looks like. And listen, he's not a great player. But that's okay.
He's playing great.
But it's not.
He's playing great.
It's a difference between playing great and being a great player.
Yeah.
Why Mahomes is a great player this year? Because everything that was taken away from him. Right? Because he has not great players that he elevates, right? The reason that we talk about Tom Brady, not because he played with Randy Moss, is because what he did for Amendola, what he did for Wes Walker.
But you know what?
Edelman.
But you know what, Bart? At the end of the day, at the end of the day, all I care about is winning. So he wins.
I understand
he
that.
wins.
For now, when you talk about greatness in your place, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Here's my question, sweetheart. Why are we even need to go into, is Brock Purdy great?
Because we talk about that with everybody.
What is the topic?
No. Because to me,
he's a player that's doing his job. He's above average quarterback.
But here's the thing: a lot of people that are taking shots at him were not the Patrick Mahomes at their position, not the Josh Allen at their position.
The best team
let me ask you this
not
question.
the best player.
Let me ask you this question, because we always talk about we always throw around numbers. Does his number say he's above average, or the number say he's playing as one of the best quarterbacks in the league?
I don't care about the numbers, man. Because environment matters. Because Barry Sanders is the greatest running back in the history of football.
Fair.
So we're not going to have that discussion because
players if we don't care about numbers?
Environment matters. Don't give
so
me that.
so you holding against him what John Lynch and them have done.
Nobody thought Matthew Stafford was even a good quarterback, but me and probably you, because you've seen it. Now he left. Now he's in a great environment. Everybody can see it. It illuminates. It pops off the screen. You know greatness when you see it. Stop it, man.
He's playing great. That's all I care about.
I don't care about playing great. You know greatness when you see it.
Well, you don't care about playing great?
Playing great and being great, like you can play.
I agree with you.
Playing great and being great is two different things.
I agree with you.
I understand that.
But we
I'd
should be
rather have the guy who
celebrating him.
plays great
That's
than
right.
the guy who is great than the guy who is great
Because
but
the
doesn't play
environment
great.
matters. See, this is the thing, right? It's going to become a time where Brock Purdy's going to be able to prove if he's great.
Yeah.
Because when he gets the contract, they're going to start taking things from him.
Yeah.
Right? And when they take things from him, that's how you have to prove when you're great.
Was he great last week? Was he great last
The
week?
second half, he was practically perfect.
How did he look the first half?
Okay, how you look in the second half when it counted the most?
All right, I have to go.
All right.
We're late as can be. Pro Bowl games